Welcome. I am your host, Trinette Collier Green of Woman on Fire. Thank you so much for coming back this week again. We appreciate it. I am your relationship stylist, building the gap between building relationships and between people, family, friends, and with God. Today we have our special guest back, the real Latressa Crawford. She's back, y'all, for part 2 of her book, so we can talk more about it. Finding Joy in Everyday Life. Welcome, Latressa. How are you?
Thank you. I'm well.
You well? Oh, you're looking pretty in purple.
Well, thank you.
You know, you usually say pretty in pink, pretty in purple.
Pretty in purple.
Pretty
there
in
you
purple.
Go.
I
There
like
you go.
that. Pretty in purple. So last time we talked, we were a little off. Well, not really off, you guys. You know, it's so much to talk about. And again, we're talking about building healthy relationships. And she's an educator. She's an author, a woman of God, and she has so much in her book. It was just we had so much to talk about, so we had to bring you back on for part 2. So let's dive right in and let's get to talking about your book. Well, first of all, tell us who you are. Tell us who you are.
Well, I am Latressa A. Crawford. I am a mother. I am an educator. I am a speaker. I am an author. And most importantly, I am a child of God.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
So yes, I strive to be a kingdom builder, and look the word strive because I'm still a work in progress. It's still work to be done, and I work for His glory and to please Him. So that's me. That's simply me. That's the real Latressa A. Crawford.
Well, let's talk about your book, Finding Joy in Everyday Life. And I tell people that this is part of my devotional. I have it on the side of the bed with me. And I don't read every day, y'all. Just because I'm an educator don't mean I read every day. But I do read it because when I need to find that joy in just getting up, or that joy, that moment to say, hey, it's time for me to get up. What do I need? Along with my Bible. Let's talk about your chapter, Keep Calm. Now, in it, you said there's a prayer, Lord, help me to continue to be a positive guide to those you have assigned to me. Show me, Lord, the right path to guide them along and to continue to plant seeds of life in their spirit. I thank you, God. Amen. Now, tell us, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by the assignment piece?
God puts persons in our path.
Okay.
Sometimes we are the assignment. Sometimes that person is our assignment or our charge. Okay. It is our charge to guide them, to impart wisdom to them, to lead them. And so being an educator in particular, we have charges all the time. We have 20 charges, 27 charges, 28, and in some cases, there are 30 charges in one room. But they are our charges. Okay. And each one and each charge, each person, each child, each woman, even if it's a man, that's your charge to God, to bring him to, maybe it's even to bring him to Christ. You know, lead him to Christ, to guide him. They are our charge, and it is our responsibility. So in that chapter, I'm talking about the children in particular being my responsibility of where they are my charge, but the tables flipped. And then what I had been imparting to them during that time, they now brought back to me, whereas I thought that they weren't listening. They weren't picking up on those little innuendos when I was talking about self, because I impart to them and I give them affirmations because it was a challenging, I'll lean to the side with that, a very challenging class that I had. Okay. And it had many different personalities, many different spirits that came with that. And so I would try to encourage and uplift them. There were a lot of children in there who had self-esteem issues. Really? There were children in there with things from their background that, didn't have the ideal background. Okay. And so I tried to encourage them to show them I love them and to love yourself. And
Okay.
despite your circumstances, you don't have to be like that.
Okay.
So in this particular incident, where I was telling them, I give them when they get angry, they had anger issues.
Okay.
You need to breathe. You need to count backwards, because when you do things out of anger, that's something causes for a bigger problem.
Right.
So I said, we need to learn to keep calm, take a breath, breathe for a moment. So during this time, I had testing. I was like, Lord, they're not going to get it. But I never told them. I never told them
You
that.
said in your head because you just
I
looking
said
like.
I knew what took place. I knew the struggle that had taken place in that class. And I was like, Lord, I don't believe it, but I believe in you. I know that you can do the impossible, and I'm looking for you to do it right here in this room. So I didn't test them, and I still, you can do it. I left affirmations on their desk telling them how proud I was of them, that they were smart, that they had this, and don't worry about it, and that I love them. So after testing, they were like, because I didn't test my children, I had to leave right out. So it was on the desk when they arrived. So when I returned to my room after class, or after testing, they were saying, we love the affirmation, thank you, and we love you. And I was like, oh, that's wonderful, great. But then the day went on.
There's a then, you guys.
And then the day went on. And they began to they turned into their usual self.
It's like that Cinderella story.
Yes, the glass slipper came off.
At midnight, boom, everything changed.
And I tried, I really tried not to, I hate to say fuss, but I gave them, as I used in the book, positive re-guidance. I tried over and over to do that positive re-guidance. But it went on all day long with the re-guidance. With the re-guidance.
Right.
And so at the end of the day, one of the children handed me a note. I didn't have time to read it because I was still doing my re-guidance. But once they had departed and everything was calm in the room, I had my music going. I opened the letter, and it was a note from one of the students who said to me, keep calm. You need to keep calm. We love the note that you gave for us, but just keep calm. You've taught us everything. Now you take 10 breaths, count backwards, and just relax. So I was like, And now it made me realize, though I did not see it at that moment, and I thought nothing was taking place. Something was taking place. A change was there. That seed was being planted, and it had begun to sprout.
Wow, that's amazing.
So I said, okay, so now the student is starting to be the teacher. And they had to give me the re-guidance.
They had to tell you to keep calm.
They had to tell me to keep calm, take those deep breaths, count backwards by 10. You got this.
But that's amazing how God turns it around for us, because again, like you said, you're thinking that it's, we're here for the other person, but they're here for us in a sense. It's like it's that relationship that you had built in the beginning, so now you have to revisit, and it's like, wait a minute. All year long, they've been listening to me, you know, and that goes with adults as well. Is sometimes, we don't get it in our head at that moment, but when that time comes, it's like, oh, this is what she was trying to tell me years ago or last month, or he was trying to tell us. It's that relationship that you've already built, connected.
Exactly.
So it was just coming back.
And that goes to another thing, a point that I was making in the book. We want that instantaneous. We said it, we've prayed over it, we've spoken it into existence.
Right.
Boom, spring forth. Where is
Right.
my sunflower?
Right.
But
right.
it's not always like that.
No.
In the growing process, it's not like that.
No.
You have to cultivate the land. You have to plant the seed, cover it up, water it, give it love, and then it sprouts. A plant never just shoots up all the way.
That's your
It
next book.
sprouts.
That's your next book.
That's
Because we don't understand that. And
right,
I'm
because we
guilty
don't
of that.
see it. And
Right.
with this time, everything is instant. Now. Fast food. I want it now. How many seconds? We can deliver it in 5 seconds.
Right,
You
right,
know,
right.
when you go to even the Chinese restaurant, same thing.
Right,
They tell
right.
you 10 minutes. Anything
right.
you want in 10 minutes, it's going to
And you
be
start thinking
ready.
like, wait a minute, 10 minutes?
10 minutes, but
What y'all
that's it.
cooking?
And we don't really think on it because we're
Right.
like, oh, 10 minutes, okay,
Exactly.
great. And we, go from there. So, especially with our times now, we're looking at and want that instantaneous gratification or reward. And it's not always like that. We always don't see the reward or the fruits of our labor instantaneous. It takes time. And I found, I've heard it, but I found more so in my later years for it to be true that anything that's worth having takes time. Anything that's worth having takes time, and it lasts.
That is so true. It
It lasts longer, and I found that anything I've had that I've had to work for and it took time for, it has lasted longer than anything, even the material things that I just got just like that. It broke, it did, they went away, they were fleeting, but those even relationships that took time to come. Our relationship of how long? Don't say it. Don't say it. How many?
Some years ago.
Okay, mumble that.
Years ago.
But that was
back in the good old days.
So that
you're
was.
right.
It took time, and even when we departed,
Right.
because we took time with took time with each other in our relationship, in our friendship.
Right.
When we met again, we picked right back up. And it
Just
blossomed
like
even more from what it was
because
before.
it matured, and like you said, a lot of times we don't realize. And I was guilty of that. Again, it's like I want it now. And the other night, I saw a post, and I think it was don't get me on somebody's a preacher, and he was talking about the time, and I said, okay, God, I hear you, and we don't want to wait on God's timing, but we know that it's good timing, and we know it's going to be worth it. It's just waiting. But we also have to block out everything else, because the world will not have you come. It will have you just in a panic and well, I can't do this. I have to. But he's telling you to keep calm. I got this.
Right.
And we just have to trust him.
Exactly.
And that's something I'm learning too every day. It's like learning to trust the process, learning to keep calm. I just told my husband the other day, I said, you know what? I'm going back to my old self, when I just used to walk around like I was in the meadow of flower, the land, because I did find myself rushing, and because of everybody else, well, you need to do this or do, and I'm just like, you know what? No, I just need to take my time. I need to keep calm. I like that, keeping calm. How do you know who's assigned to you? You said that you were assigned to the charges, but how do you know when you're assigned to people and when the season? How do you know that?
Sometimes, for me, I didn't always recognize that was my charge. I think once I began to pray, some things that came about, it's like, it's not going like this. They're not really listening to me like that. What is this going on? Why and I'm praying and this and that, and then God began to reveal to me, this is the one. So I think he's going to speak to you.
Okay.
Be it through others, because it's another incident that's in my book where it talks about someone had to, God spoke through them.
Okay.
to let me know this is your charge. And this
Wow.
is, and it was like, and you know when it leaves me speechless.
Right.
So once they spoke and they said those, and I was like,
He gave me that look. Give me the look again.
It just shut me down. I had no words. Just
Right.
like, you just shut me down.
Right.
I had no comeback at all. So,
Wow.
but I feel as though you would know. God will let you know, either do through your prayer or speaking through others. Some type of sign will take place that you will know this is your charge. Even with the person God spoke to me in regards to, that's not in the book, but recently in regards to my birthday and the celebration, and I was like, oh, I want to do this. So I was putting my little pennies back for my birthday celebration, and God said, I want you to house a family. I was like, what for these money?
Right. It's like, Lord, it's my birthday.
It's the birthday money. I was working hard to save it. But he was like, I want you to house a family. And I was like, what family? Where? You know, I work with the
Right.
homeless. Am I going to meet them when I go out on the street, you know,
Right.
working with the homeless? Am I going to meet them at the other shelter that I go to?
Right.
Where am I going to meet them? And I mean, months went by. And he just still said, I want you to house a family. Then he began to show me the family. It was a woman,
Okay.
no husband,
Okay.
and 2 children. I
Wow.
was like, I started going down my friends list. Who is that? What is
Right.
my friends, I don't think that's them. And it still kept, another month went by. And then all of a sudden, boom, this family appeared.
Wow.
And I was like, Lord, this is the family that you're talking about. So when it's your charge,
Right.
you will know. You may not know in the very beginning
Yeah.
of that, but rest assured that he will make it known to you. This is who I'm putting you in charge of, and vice versa.
Right.
You will know that this person is in charge of me. This is the person who is to lead me. This is the person who is to guide me,
Right.
because he will speak to you in regards to that. He will begin to bring that person around more. He will let you know more. The things that they say to you will be specific to your situation that you didn't even tell them about. It's going to be like, how you know?
Right.
But that's that person who has been charged to you as well.
And I can attest to that because, you know, many of you know that when I met my second husband, my first words were like, Lord, you sure? Because this is not what was on my vision board. And I remember I called my great aunt, and, you know, I was talking to a few people, and I said, I'm not sure. You know, I talked to my pastor, and each one of them kept saying, that's who God sent you. And I said, well, I'm not sure because it's not on my vision board. This is not the person. And I remember my husband saying, he said, do you think that God sent me to you so you can lead me to Christ? And you think about you shutting down. I said, I couldn't say nothing. I said, no, Jesus didn't send you. Know, I'm making every excuse. But you're right. It's like those moments where you're just like, it's unexplainable, but you know that, okay, God sent this person, and that's what he had to show me about, really change my perception of what marriage is. It's a ministry, because when you put in, when people are in place in your life for that reason, you're supposed to be leading. And I said, and I was praying to God. I said, Lord, I don't want this responsibility. I can't lead nobody to Christ. I'm still trying to get to you myself, you know. But you're right, that charge.
Yeah.
But again, overall, it's keeping calm because he still has us. I like that. And then in your reflection, you guys, you have to get, you know, the book is really wonderful because she allows you to reflect on it. Write down, as you said, write down what it is you will do to offer positive guidance to the charges God has placed in your care. The positive guidance that you said. I like that. What's one positive guidance that you would say to?
Encouraging words and affirmations.
Okay.
That is one I think that is a stable, because your guidance is dependent upon who you're in charge of in the situation.
Okay.
But I think no matter who or the situation, you're going to always need positive affirmations to give and a word of encouragement to give in regards to that.
Right.
So that's one of the things.
Okay.
Positive affirmations to give to them and for yourself.
Right.
To keep yourself encouraged because
Right.
some charges are challenging. Like in
Yes, Lord.
some
Yes,
charges
Lord.
are challenging, and so you're
Yes.
going to have to also have your own affirmations to keep yourself encouraged and keep yourself positive for the charge that you have to keep them positive and encouraged as well.
Wow. Finding joy in everyday life. Let's quickly talk about your next one. Why was I created this way? Your prayer starting off, God, I thank you. Bold letters. I thank you for making me. I thank you for the plan that you have for my life. Now, it's a prayer, but how do you accept what God created? Because I know as a woman, we go through the physical changes. We don't like the physical changes. We go through the mental, social, emotional. How do you accept what God has created?
That's one of the things the prayer was about. When I wrote that, I was feeling in regards to down in regards to my physical appearance changing, that I had become so fluffy.
Fine and fluffy, honey.
Yes,
fine
and fluffy. I had become so fine and fluffy. But then I had to say, God, you didn't make any junk. You knew exactly who and what you were creating. And I just had to thank him because of that, because he makes no mistake. So I am not a mistake. Me being fluffy is right on time. Hey! It's right on time.
Wow,
but once again, that goes to that positive affirmation. Be it scripture, be it some poetry that you use, something from, whether it's something your grandmother said, your mother said, that encourages you, that gives you life, that gives you hope, then so be it. For me, it was the scripture and the prayer that does it. And understand that he makes no mistake. No mistake, excuse me. He makes no mistakes. That he knew exactly. He knew you were going to get fluffy. He knew you were going to get...
So you mean God knew all this?
He knew you were going to be fluffy, and he knew it was going to fit right in for the plan that he had for your life. He knew she needs to be fluffy right now. It's going to work out just fine. Just right.
That's what we're supposed to be keeping calm.
Right.
He got us, right?
There you go. He knew when you would become unfluffy. Defluff. And it's a purpose for that as well.
Right.
But know that you are still valuable, whatever talents, whatever gifts, whatever physical appearance that you have. You are still valued in the kingdom of God. Your talents are still useful in the kingdom of God. Your talent is not like my talent. My talent is not like your talent. But we all come together and work as one. It's like the hand. Well, he says like the body. But specifically, I'm going to say like the hand. The thumb does one. You need them to work.
Has a purpose.
It has its own purpose. But it works collectively together.
Right.
So I can grasp that Mountain Dew that I have. If you all don't know, that's one of my things.
Mountain Dew,
Mountain Dew
Her
is one of the things
Dew.
I like, and coffee.
Oh, wow. And that's a struggle in the, especially among women, Christian women, because we compare ourselves to the world, you know. And I'm one. I've gone through
we all guilty.
all these diets, and I just had to say, you know what, God, you created me. You know, I may have added a little bit, some extra little stuff on there, you know, but you created me. You knew I was going to have this. So, you know, it's accepting what he has created. Another question, how do you not compare yourself to your peers? How do you keep how do you just say, you know what, like you said, God created me. He's not comparing me to anybody. You know, how do you go about your daily life?
And it can be, once again, a challenge with social media, as you mentioned.
Yes.
Because even for myself, looking at this picture, hey, wow, look, look at there. Instagram, so why you live? Oh, wow, I'm not like, what? My nails, like, what? My hair didn't come out as natural and fluffy. But You know, you have to keep focused on your purpose that God has for you. So continue to write your vision out. Put it before you where you can see it. If it's on your bathroom mirror, if it's on your bedroom door. I have one on my bedroom door. The purpose and a plan.
Right.
And it basically says that stay focused on what God has for you and his purpose. And it's on my bedroom door, so that when I close my bedroom door at night and I lay down, I begin to think on, the mind begins to wander at night, thinks about this. I shouldn't have had that cookie last night. I should not have
had
drank
those wings,
wings.
that 10-piece wing.
I saw that on Instagram. Why didn't I have that?
Right.
Oh, they have this car, and I'm struck. But when I lay down at night, I see that affirmation. And then I began to, when I close my eyes, think on what God has for me. And I began to say, Lord, help me to walk in a purpose that you have. And so that's what I try to focus on.
Okay.
The purpose that God has for me.
Wow.
And how can I better achieve it? How can I better please God? Me.
Right.
If that's what is pleasing God for what they're doing, then fine. But how do I better please God? That's my goal. I want to walk in what he has for me. So what is it, God? How do I go about it? And that's what I stay focused on.
The real Latressa Crawford, you guys. Finding joy in everyday life. I live by it. I have it. It has helped me. And I want to thank you again for coming, stopping by and chit-chatting with me. And we're going to continue this conversation because, again, it's building that healthy relationship with self. This is helping me to build, be a better me, and to have that better relationship with God so I can have a better relationship with everybody else around me. So, again, thank you all so much for joining me. I am Trinette Collier-Green, and you can catch me on all social media. How can we catch you, Latressa?
Yes, you can reach me at various sites. Once again, my website is www.thereallatressa, LATRESSA.me, my Elohim, me. You can also reach me on Facebook, Latressa A. Crawford, on Instagram, _real_Latressa, and on Twitter. Please connect with me. There's some great and positive things that's going to be taking place. One of the things coming up, maybe past by time, but is my conference, which we have our own hostess who will be part of that as well, talking about healthy relationships as well on there.
So thank you again. Until next time, you guys, stay blessed, live, laugh, and love life. You only have one life to live, and every day is a brand new day. So until next time, signing off. I am Trinette Collier-Green, and this is Woman on Fire. Bye.